And
That's
today's
all
your
right.
day off because you've been at the festival for the past 3 days. How was that? How are you happy with the turnout? How did it all go when you look back at it and you sum it up?
I was really humbled, really honored. Rory Sang and the girls were so well received. It just gave me hope
Hmm.
that South Africans and African people in general are ready for this kind of stuff to come
Yeah.
to them.
Definitely. And I enjoyed it so much. And I thought, you know what? I definitely would like to introduce my little one to it so she can be able to watch it. But when I left the festival, the question that kept coming back to me was, you've got this series which you just premiered one episode of. Where are you going to put it? Can they watch it on YouTube?
That's
Where can people watch the full series?
That's a very good question.
Hmm.
So, for watching the very first episode, we will release it on the Kabelo Studios YouTube channel and on Rory Sang and the Girls YouTube channel.
Hmm.
We will release it, we're thinking either September or November, depending on how many more in-person events we do. But
Hmm.
as for the rest of the series, we're still doing the journey of pitching it and finding the right
Hmm.
partners, the right broadcasters to actually house the TV show itself.
Because you will have to have it licensed. Otherwise, how are you going to make money if you put all of it on YouTube?
Exactly.
Mm.
So that is also why Rory Sang already has her own line of merchandise, so that as we are doing the journey of finding the right broadcasting partners, we are actually still generating some sort of an income from all of the different Rory Sang products, whether it's a coloring book or a brownie or a hat. And also that is one way that people can take a piece of Rory Sang home with them while they wait for the TV show to get finished.
Now, let's talk about Rorisa. Tell us about a bit about the series.
So Rory Sang is a South African schoolgirl. There she is behind me. She is a fan of K-pop, Korean pop music, and because of that, she wants to make her own Afro pop band. She goes to a very conservative all-girls school, and so the villain of the show, they call her the vibe killer. She's the one who's always hindering their efforts to start a band. The vibe killer is the choir mistress who's very traditional. So
Mm.
Rory Sang and the girls have to prove her wrong, make their band a reality, and show that their music is valid and become world famous. It's really about friendship, creativity, having a big heart, defining a sense of success for yourself. That's what Rory Sang is about. And it's a little bit based off of how we were when we were in school with my friends.
Yeah. All right. Um, how long did it take you to put together this project? Did you start it? Did you start it because there was funding towards the conceptual side of things, or something that was a passion project that became bigger and bigger as you went?
Rorisang has always existed in my mind in some form since I was in high school. But as the years have gone, I started a studio after university because I couldn't get a job. And I
Mm-hmm.
did medical animation, which I still do, which is
Mm-hmm.
like the bread and butter of the studio. And so when we do a client project, whether it's a TV show or a children's book, because we also did some stuff with MultiChoice last year, we use a portion of what we earn from client work to fund our efforts to make original concepts like Rorisang.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how Rorisang was I suppose, financed. But we started working on it officially 3 years ago when it was just a concept. There was a call out, one of these competitions and things like that. And then we entered it into something called Stories by Women, which was funded by Walt Disney Animation. We got to travel to France. We've been to Germany. We've been in different competitions with Rory Sang.
Mm-hmm.
And when we couldn't find exactly the right partner, we decided let's do it ourselves. So we made an online comic book that you can read. It's got 11,000 views right now. And that was 2 years ago. And then we started making the first episode last year. And then, of course, we just released it in Joburg this week.
Really, the quality of the animation, you so good at being true to the genre. The
Thank you.
visual references are so clear. And again, the quality, it's something that you know, one, when you look at it as an African, one can only just be proud. And we met a lot of animators as well at the festival. It was very good to kind of be exposed to that world. And I mean, I can only expose that world through the work that I do on radio as well as on television. But I want us to move the conversation to the role of AI and the evolution of animation, and now having things animated for us in a matter of minutes. Does that take away from you as an animator? Because to be honest, let's not talk badly about it. Some of it is good work that these apps do.
It is a very interesting time that AI exists and that images can be created in an instant. And it can be quite scary. You're faced
Mm,
with a question, am I becoming obsolete? And I don't know, I always view technology as another kind of paintbrush. So there is always going to be a malicious way to use a technology, but there's always going to be a good and beneficial way to use technology. Do we yet understand how we can do that? Not yet. But I do
mm,
think that as creators, the thing that will always have value is your unique perspective, your unique taste, and the unique story that you are going to share. And so, whether you end up using I mean, I draw on the computer when I do
mm,
animation. We use software already. So there is already some sort of technological intervention, I guess, that we use to create our animation. Of course, the scary thing is that technically I've put up so much effort to get really strong at drawing. Am I going to get replaced by a
mm,
computer? I don't necessarily see that happening, but I think it's about seeing where else can I provide value with my skill of animation. If a computer's value or an AI's value is that it does it in an instant, then I'm not going to try and compete with that. I'm going to try and compete with something that the AI can never do and be, which is have a perspective. Even the person who's typing prompts has to have some sort of a
yeah,
perspective. Even
yeah.
prompt typing is not the hardest thing to do. And so for me, I still value the handmade. I still think it has value. And but I think as AI comes in, it's better not to be afraid of it. It's better to see what it can do, see where you can embrace it if you can, or acknowledge that you're going to do something different than what the AI can do, so that
Mm,
you always have a value that you are giving to people.
mm. Do you then, let's say you're working on a concept and you multitask, you've got a few projects on the pipeline, um, you know, creating this concept that you'd like to sell to potential funders or broadcasters for commissioning. Do you, when you sit there by yourself and no one is watching, do you still think, let me sit here with my gadget and draw from, or you just like, I'm also doing what everybody's doing. Prompt, 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 done. Because
I'm still
I'm
an
thinking, do
artist.
you really have to draw now? Like, hmm?
You know, if I could eat my drawings, I would. It's like a
No, they're
bird
not.
flying or a
Mm,
fish swimming.
mm,
I have to draw. That's just how I am personally. Um, but I am not like ignorant of what the tool can do. So many times if I have to do a lot of copywriting and I need to think about different iterations of my idea, I still don't fully allow the AI to do everything for me because I don't want to lose the skill. But what I often do try is if I've got business concepts, if I've got something that I want to write, I do then try and use the AI to see what other options it comes up with. And sometimes, even if I'm doing research and I don't necessarily want to do straight a Google search, I might go to the AI to
mm,
find summaries, and
mm,
then I might click through those links and then still do the normal journey of finding various resources to help me. So, again, it's just another paintbrush for me. But if there's an idea that I have, if we were still as a team conceptualizing Rory Sang from the beginning, she will still be a sketch. I will still look at my old school photos. I might base my characters off of people that I know or that I've seen. That is what makes the story still relatable, is when it's based on a real thing. So AI is very powerful because it can pour back to you whatever you pour in. And so you still
yeah,
have to do the hard work
yeah.
of finding what you want to pour in so you can get the stronger version of what you want back. But I still have a sketchbook. I still draw. It will always come back to that at the end of the day.
Oh, okay. So it has to be, it's a passion. Drawing is a passion
Yeah,
of
it
yours. So you
is.
don't do it like, I must just draw again.
No, it's not a drag. It's really I do it for the enjoyment.
Mm. Okay, so with the projects that you work on now, seeing that some work can be fast tracked through certain tools online, that also contributes towards cost saving. So in that regard, it will help with a certain budget. Where else, if you had to bring 5 people, you can just do it with one more person.
I mean, I see that as a way to compete with industries that are much older than South Africa. Like our industry is what, 20, 30 years old. It's still relatively young compared to Hollywood that's over 100 years old.
Mm.
And so if one artist with the help of various technologies is able to do the work of 50 animators or something, then it is something we have to look at as an industry that is building and that's trying to compete and create at the same, I suppose, capacity as overseas.
Mm.
But I still think that in order for an artist to get the most out of the AI, they still need fundamental understanding. You need to understand how colors work. You need to understand how the image composition rather works. And so an individual might be able to type a prompt and then generate a really pretty image, but do they know what purpose they're trying to gain out of that image? I think someone who's still knowledgeable, who still has knows why certain colors work together and other colors don't, is someone who can make far greater use of another tool than someone who's just, brainstorming and having fun. But I do think, yes, there are ways to investigate. Like AI is still so new in some ways. I think there are ways to investigate how you could save on certain costs so that you can rather use that income, I don't know, to mark that funding to
Mm.
market or
Mm.
to improve your machinery or whatever it might be. There's always going to be a cost to creating the art. It's just now, how do we delegate that cost?
Absolutely. So for people that like to catch a glimpse of Rory Sang and the girls, where can they go?
So if you are looking to catch up on Rory Sang's coming of age shenanigans, you can find her on TikTok and on Instagram. Her handle is Rory Sang, so Rory Sang with 3 A's because she loves to sing. And then you can also go onto cablostudios.com, CABBLOW. That'll take you to Rory Sang's merchandise, her store, and you can also find Rory Sang to read online on Webtoons. It's a comic book app. So you
Mm.
just have to type in Rory Sang and the girls, and you'll find it. We're South African, so we're easy to find in these international platforms.
Mm. Also, where to from here? Where else are you screening next?
So we are touring at various schools, where we are doing the same thing, where we show Rorisang and we do behind the scenes of how we made Rorisang.
Mm.
We're looking to do some more events. We will be at Avi Josie, which is another animation and visual effects and gaming event happening in September. And I'm sure you'll just keep an eye out on Rorisang's Instagram and TikTok to see what else we'll be cooking up for the rest of the year. We have some ideas that we want to do over Christmas time as well.
I'm going to Comic Con Africa on Thursday, and I've been thinking, who do I go as? Maybe I might just go as Rory Sang.
Yes, cosplay Rory Sang. We would love to see it.
Right. Thank you so much for chatting to us on Tech Africa. Keep doing the work that you're doing. I was honestly loving every single moment of being there, Kabelo.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We're talking about the world of anime